What's up, guys? Dragonfly Mike. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of why I think the Eltheria provides a more flavorful experience. Before I get into the meat and potato of the video, I do want to say that this theory, in my experience, is based on me not using the IRA filter. Now, for stick hookahs, there's a concept where you have indirect vases and direct vases. Indirect vases tend to be larger volume vases that not only have more water, but the smoke chamber within this vase tends to be much larger. And as a result, since it takes a little more time for the smoke to be drawn through the water, and it takes a little more time for that smoke chamber to kind of reach the pinnacle of flavor for that individual session, it's known as an indirect vase. It's just not as in your face right away. And then you have more direct style vases. This is when smoke is drawn through a smaller amount of water and the smoke chamber is more condensed. And as a result, there isn't really a delay in flavor once you start smoking or when you've purged the hookah. Now, when we look at the Eltheria, it actually has an indirect smoke chamber and a direct smoke chamber. The direct chamber is the first water chamber that ends up being a smoke chamber as well. And the smoke is only drawn through about 75 milliliters of water, a very small amount of water. So what ends up happening is you have this direct vase within the Eltheria, and then you have the other water chamber. And what makes this really different than like an indirect vase for a stick hookah is the smoke is only drawn through the water once. The second smoke chamber is an indirect chamber that is not being drawn through water. This one right here. So what ends up happening is you draw the smoke through a small amount of water and you have a direct chamber effect. But then later on, when it fills out into this other chamber that is not drawn through water, it creates a indirect experience. This is another reason why I think it also creates a cooler experience, but you're not cooling it from an outside source. The water is no colder in here than it is here. It's just the physics of what's happening with the smoke. When you combine all those things together with the Eltheria, that's, I think, the reason why this creates a more flavorful experience. You're taking many facets of stick hookahs and condensing them down to one unit. The other thing that I want to touch on is I tried to word myself very carefully in these videos where I used my theory or my experience. Because when it comes to hookah and many other things in life, the way that I experience things, whether it be flavor or the way that I see things, is not gospel. Your experience may end up being different than mine. Not only that, we've never had a hookah like this before. And so it is a theory on my experience. There's no way to really prove that I'm right here. That's why I think it's really important that if you have an Eltheria and a stick hookah, to set them up side by side with the same bowl so you can experience in real time the difference that I'm talking about. But I think that's all I got, and thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.